to regulate the conduct of the advocates. Earlier, this power was given to the courts itself. Court used to interview the candidates who want to protect, who want to practice, and if they're well versed in law, in the customs, in the traditions, and they have a good record of conduct, they used to be allowed to be advocates. So, advocate is a challenging profession. In the initial years of practice, it is very difficult to survive. Because, as said by our friend Narrates, it is difficult to get a brief. For the new entrants to the profession, they have to wait a long period to get briefs. All eminent advocates who became successful in the later part of their life, they waited for a very long time. Knowledge, as said by Anis, can be acquired by learning books, by reading books, to know the procedure. But to become a successful advocate, one has to observe the court proceedings. One has to observe the conduct of the senior advocates, the way they present the case, the way they draft the pleadings, and the manner in which they address the court. These are all very crucial aspects the young advocates need to observe, need to know in the initial years of practice. So this, only because of these things, one has to join, or there is a procedure of getting training in the office of the senior. In London or in other European countries, there are association of advocates called inns. So Grace Inn is a famous association of advocates where Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was trained. It is one of the best institutes in the world where advocates are trained. So, but in India, such training institutes or associations are not there. So the training, whatever training is required for the advocates, it has to be through the senior advocates, under whose guidance the young advocates practice under their guidance. We see in our freedom struggle, all of our leaders are mainly advocates. Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the first president, was an advocate. Jawaharlal Nehru was the prime minister, first prime minister, was an advocate. Dr. Ambedkar was an advocate. Sardar Patel, the first home minister, was an advocate. So like this, advocates have a great role to play in the social and political system. The first law minister was Dr. Ambedkar, as I said, was a barrister who trained in Grace Inn. And the first law minister of Pakistan also, Jogenram Mandal, he is also an advocate. So friends, choosing the profession of advocates is a very challenging one, and therefore we should do all those things, the hard work, continuous reading, continuous learning, all the enactments that are governing the litigation. First of all, you should, for those who are keen to practice in High Court, should know the Constitution. Article 226, Article 227, under which writs are filed before the High Court, you should know as to how the writs are maintainable, how the writs are to be drafted. And if you want to practice at Supreme Court, apart from those things, you should know Article 32, under which writs are filed. So there is, you need to study so many enactments if you practice at the lower level, at the district level, CPC, CRPC, Transfer Property Limitation Act. These all things have to well versed to know, to practice. And another important aspect of the district judiciary is to the art of cross-examination. It's a great weapon. It cannot be learned. It cannot be learned from observing the seniors. As one of the students has put a question with regard to how the cross-examination should be done. As answered by him, you should know the pleadings. It is a civil law, civil case. You should know what is the pleadings are, the plaint, the written statement. So know when, then only you can cross-examine the witness properly. And if it's a criminal case, you should know what the witnesses have spoken in the 161 statements. 161 CRP statements are the basis for the evidence to be adduced. The witness normally speaks what is written in 161 CRP statements. Suppose if we add something more, suppose it's a criminal case and he says something more than what he said there, then in the cross-examination, you can put to him as to did you say in your one statement, you can confront the 161 statement. This statement given to the police during the investigation, you did not state. What do you say? So like that, you can weaken his evidence. If he supports the prosecution, if you are cross-examining on behalf of the accused, it is only by way of creating doubt to the court that this witness is speaking false, you will help your client, the accused. So there are, as rightly pointed out by my friend Anis, the precedent law, you should know. For example, the Constitution. About the Constitution, there is one law called Basic Structure. The Supreme Court has held in a number of cases, right from Keshwananda case, then Minerva Mills case, that Constitution has got certain aspects which is called basic structure. This basic structure cannot be changed, cannot be altered. The government, at some point of time, when Vajpayee was the Prime Minister, wanted to change this constitution by bringing in presidential form of government. There was a lot of he posed this question to the rulers and questioned the impropriety of amending the constitution. Constitution, as I said, there are basic structures, and this structure cannot be altered. The committee was also formed by the then government for this purpose. The committee gave its report that parliamentary form of system is the basic structure of the constitution, therefore it cannot be changed. Constitution the parliamentary system is a better way of governance, because you have the right to question the minister when he stands in the assembly. Minister is member of the assembly, but whereas in the presidential form of constitution, this is not possible. In America, you can't question a minister because he will not be available there, he is not answerable to the parliament. Anybody can be appointed as ministers. The president is also not member of the parliament. So therefore, Dr. Ambedkar has chosen that parliamentary system is the best form of government for India, and that system, some people do not like it. So friends, the advocates, many of us, many of our leaders, having come from this profession, which is a great profession for the students, for the mainly was newly entered, who have completed law, to take up this challenge. And the one sad aspect of this profession is persons who come from poor families find it very difficult to survive in this profession. I wanted to be an advocate. In fact, I was an engineering student. In third year, I discontinued engineering. I joined law. And after joining law, I joined an office of an eminent advocate, but I found it very difficult because my father was an agricultural laborer. So my three brothers were studying. So when I joined, I was not earning anything in those 3-4 months or 6 months. So I thought I cannot earn anything unless you get a brief. And even if you get a brief, you can't have something experience to handle it. So I thought it's better to secure a job. I was in the profession. Meanwhile, I was selected as assistant sectional department secretary. So my father realized me, and many friends also advised me, it's a better job. Why don't you join? Then reluctantly I joined. Later on, I again appeared for this union civilian examination and was selected, and I became a judge. So one should have passion for this profession. So if you only have passion and commitment to justice to the people, only then you can continue in this profession. So many people like me are not inclined to continue in this profession. So that is one difficulty is there. Only affluent families in the initial years, affluent families only the advocates have come. Only few from poorer sections of the society have come. But today, when our AC, our Association Committee of Civil Rights, has come forward to train 50 students and support them for 1 year so that they can become advocates and then start earning at least after 1 year. This is a good gesture on the part of the association, and if such thing happen, so people like me suddenly would continue as advocates and flourish individually and also do the justice to the society. So passion for justice is very important to become an advocate. The learning and all that, once you join, you will have to certainly study books, more and more books, then only they will survive. Otherwise, you will find it very difficult to continue in the profession. Nowadays, many people are coming and getting enrolled. There will be hundreds of people because of unemployment, because of this government has not notifying the vacancies. So more people are attracted to the legal profession. And there are so many avenues. We can become judges, we can become advisors to the banks, we can become prosecutors and advocates. So many ways the legal profession is giving opportunities, avenues of employment. So I think the the students will take these opportunities and they'll rise to the occasion. And some of you, I think, will become judges, and I may have opportunity to appear before you. So I welcome you all to this profession. Thank you very much.
Thank you.